Welcome to the presentation Transport Layer in Wireless Networks. I am Dr. K. Vatmapriya, Assistant Professor, Government College of Engineering, Puri Nayakanur. In the YSI models, we have 7 layers in which the communication between two devices being monitored in unwired networks. In case of wireless networks, these layers have to be adapted for the mobility provided in the wireless networks. And in the network layers, till up to the lower layers, up to the network layer, this mobility will be achieved with various mechanisms. And now we are going to see how the mobility is being achieved in the transport layer. The supporting mobility only on the lower layers up to the network layer is not enough to provide the mobility support for all the applications. Most applications rely on transport layers such as transmission control protocol or user datagram protocol in the case of the internet. And there are many differences between UDP and TCP, which is whereas the main difference is the TCP offers guaranteed connections between the two applications. The TCP has built-in mechanism to behave in a network-friendly manner. The TCP encounters the packet loss. It automatically assumes for the network internal congestion, and it reduces the transmission data rate between the transmitter and the receiver. So the congestion could be recovered, and that's why TCP is told to be the network friendly behavior, whereas the UDP does not behave in a network friendly manner. That is, it does not pull back in case of congestion, and it continues to send packets into a already congested network, which further increases the congestion. There are many mechanisms in the transport layer within the TCP that play an important role when using TCP for mobility. In the traditional TCP, the hypertext transfer protocol, which is used by the web services, it typically uses the TCP. It provides reliable transport between the client and server required. The main reason for the success of TCP protocol is it is connection oriented and it's not transaction oriented. It is network friendly because once the time out for the receiving of acknowledgement is done, then the network assumes to be congested, and it starts to reduce the transmission data rate. So the slowing down will be happening for the data between the transmitter and the receiver. In the traditional TCP, the packet loss is due to two reasons. The one is transmission errors, and the other is change of network. That is, the user, when he moves from one network area to the next network area, while he moves on, the data communication will be happening and the packet must not be lost, and that is the mobility to be provided for the user in case of wireless networks. So because of this change of network area also, there may be the packet loss. So in between the client and the server, it starts with the TCP sync signal, and once the server receives it, it acknowledges it, and the client again sends the TCP acknowledgement signal. Once the server receives it, the client again initiates the HTTP request, and the server responses for it, and the data communication will be happening between the transmitter and the receiver. When there is no data communication between the users for more than 15 seconds, the connection will be terminated. It will be initiated with the connection release, and your connection will be released if there is no data communication beyond 15 seconds. And that's why the TCP is called as connection oriented and it's not transaction oriented. The TCP congestion control, the packet loss in fixed networks are typically due to overload situations, and it's temporary, and the router have to discard the packets as soon as the buffers are full. The TCP recognizes the congestion only indirect via missing acknowledgements or by retransmissions. They would only contribute to the congestion and make it even worse. The slow start algorithm as a reaction when occurs after the detection of the congestion. The sender, in the slow start algorithm, the sender calculates the congestion window for a receiver. It starts with a congestion window size equal to one segment, that is the TCP packet. and there will be an exponential increase of the congestion window up to the congestion threshold, and then there will be a linear increase once it crosses the congestion threshold. The missing acknowledgement causes the reduction of the congestion threshold to half of the current congestion window. The congestion window starts again with one segment. In the fast retransmit or fast recovery algorithm, the TCP sends an acknowledgement only after receiving a packet. If a sender receives several acknowledgements for the same packet, this is due to the gap in the received packets at the receiver. However, the receiver, it got all the packets up to the gap and is actually receiving the packets. Therefore, packet loss is not due to congestion, but it continues with the current congestion window. Then if this is the case, then you should not use the slow start algorithm. And the implications on mobility. TCP assumes congestion if the packets are dropped. So when there is no receiving of acknowledgement, it assumes the congestion, and it is typically wrong in case of wireless networks. Here we often have the packet loss due to the transmission errors. Furthermore, mobility itself can cause packet loss. Example, the mobile node is roaming from one access point, that is from the home network, to a foreign agent in the next network. So to another access point, when it moves, there are still packet loss, and in the transit, this is also due to the mobility, the TCP protocol, it occurs this transmission errors. And in case it is that is the forwarding is not possible, the performance of unchanged TCP, it degrades severely. However, the TCP cannot be changed fundamentally due to large base of installation in the fixed networks. TCP for mobility has to remain compatible. The basic TCP mechanism, it keeps the whole internet together. And the classic TCP improvements have to be done to the protocol, and there are several mechanisms for the improvements in wireless and mobile environments. The initial improvement which would be done to the TCP that is a case is indirect TCP. In indirect TCP or ITCP, it segments the connection, that is, it divides it into two, and there are no changes to the TCP protocol for the host connected to the wired internet. And if the wireless part of the connection has to be adapted. The optimized TCP protocol for the mobile host has to be used. Splitting of the connection into two, that is the foreign agent into two TCP connection, there is no real end-to-end connection any longer. The host in the fixed part of the net do not notice any changes in the characteristics of the wireless part. So in this, the connection between the wireless mobile host and the corresponding node through the access point, and the wired part remains the same, and that is for monitored by the standard TCP, whereas the wireless part between the mobile host and the access point is wireless TCP has to be monitoring these data communication between the host and the foreign agent. So the indirect TCP segments a TCP connection into these two parts. And the mobile host, when it moves from one area to the other area, the access point has to be shifted. So here the access point 1, once the socket is migrated, it is moving from the first access point to the next access point, whereas the wired part remains without any change, and the wireless part has to be changed. And the advantages in case of the indirect TCP is there are no changes in the fixed network side, and no changes for the host necessary, and all current optimizations to the TCP are still work. Transmission errors on the wireless link, and it do not spread to the fixed side of the network, and it's simple to control. Mobile TCP is used only for one hop between a foreign agent and mobile host. Therefore, a very fast retransmission of packets is possible. The short delay on the mobile hop is known. And the disadvantages in the indirect TCP are loss of end-to-end semantics, and acknowledgement to a sender does now not any longer mean than a really receiver got a packet. So foreign agent, it might crash. Higher latency possible, and due to buffering of data within the foreign agent and forwarding to a new foreign agent. So the delay will be more. Next is the snooping TCP. Snooping means that is the interfering. Here the foreign agent will interfere, that will be interfered and will be monitored for the acknowledgements. The transparent extension of the TCP with the foreign agent. So buffering of packets will be sent to the mobile host, and lost packets on the wireless link in both direction, it will be retransmitted immediately by the mobile host or foreign agent, and which will be locally retransmitted and called as local retransmission. The foreign agent therefore snoops the packet flow and recognizes the acknowledgements in both the direction, and it filters these acknowledgements. The change of TCP is done only within the foreign agent. And here the foreign agent will be snooped for the acknowledgements, and it will be monitored between the mobile host and the corresponding node. And in case of any missing acknowledgement, there will be a retransmission of that packet, and that will be done from the mobile host itself, and this you call as a local retransmission, so that the snooping of the acknowledgement in the foreign agent will make faster retransmission, and if there is an error, transmission error in the data communication, the data transfer to the mobile host will be done with these steps. That is, the foreign agent, it buffers the data until it receives the acknowledgement of the mobile host, and the foreign agent detects the packet loss by a duplicated IC case or by the timed out AC case. The fast retransmission will be possible, and it is transparent for the fixed network too. The data transfer from the mobile host is done, that is, the FA detects the packet loss on the wireless link via sequence numbers, and FA answers directly with the negative acknowledgement to the mobile host. The mobile host can now retransmit the data with only a very short delay, and so the delay between the retransmission will be reduced, and that's the benefit which we obtain from the snooping TCP. Integration of the MAC layer. The MAC layer often has similar mechanisms to those of TCP. So the MAC layer can already detect the duplicated packets due to retransmissions, and they discard them. Snooping TCP, the issues regarding the snooping TCP are, the snooping TCP does not isolate the wireless link as same as the indirect TCP. Snooping might be useless depending on the encryption schemes. Mobile TCP, the special handling of lengthy or frequent disconnections, so you can easily handle over it, because the mobile TCP, it splits as indirect TCP does. So unmodified TCP fixed network to the supervisory host, and optimized TCP supervisory host to the mobile host. So the supervisory host, it has no catching, and there is no retransmission of packets if there is a loss in the packet. The mobile TCP monitors all the packets if the disconnection is detected, and it set the sender window size to 0. The sender automatically goes into the persistent mode. Old or new supervisory host, it reopens the window. The advantages are, it maintains the semantics connection, supports disconnection, and no buffer forwarding is there. Disadvantages is the loss on the wireless link propagated into the fixed network. Next is the modification made in the classical TCP is fast retransmit or fast recovery. The change of the foreign agent often results in packet loss, and the retransmission, it will be done fast. So that is the speciality in the fast retransmit. The TCP reacts with the slow start algorithm as if there is no congestion. So forced fast retransmit will be done. As soon as the mobile host has registered with a new foreign agent, the mobile host sends the duplicated acknowledgements on purpose. So when you duplicate the acknowledgement, automatically your number of packets are increased, and this makes or forces the agent to retransmit the packets. So it forces the fast retransmit mode within the communication partners. Additionally, the TCP on the mobile host is forced to continue sending with the actual window size and not to go into the slow start after registration. The advantages is simple changes result in the significant higher performance. The disadvantage is the mixing of the IP and the TCP approach. The mobile host can be disconnected for a The next is transmission or timeout freezing. The mobile host can be disconnected for a longer time because of losing connection. and there is no packet exchange possible if tunneling is used, and the disconnection due to the overloaded network or higher priority traffic. The TCP disconnects after timeout completely. In case of TCP freezing, the MAC layer is often able to detect the interruption in an advance. So, MAC will inform the TCP layer for the upcoming loss of connection so that the data cannot be communicated. So, TCP stops the sending of data packets, but it does not assume a congested link. The MAC layer signals again if it is reconnected. The advantage with timeout freezing are the scheme is independent of data, and the disadvantage is TCP on the mobile host has to be changed, and this mechanism depends on MAC layer. The next comes to the selective retransmission. Selective retransmission means assume that some of the packets are lost and their acknowledgements are not received from the receiver. Automatically that particular packets has to be retransmitted, and that's the concept of selective retransmission. TCP acknowledgements are often cumulative, and the ACK n acknowledges correct and in sequence receipt of packets up to n. So, n number of packets are present, and according to that you receive the n number of acknowledgements. If single packet is missing, and quite often a whole packet sequence beginning at the gap has to be retransmitted, that is a go back n method. So, if 4 packets have been not received and your acknowledgement is not received, you have to go back by 4, and from that you have to transmit all the four from that 4 packets you have to retransmit all the packets. So, that is called as go back n. So, n packets means n steps you have to move back, and you have to transmit all those n number of packets again, which is the wastage of the bandwidth of the channel. Selective retransmission is one of the solution where only the lost packets alone has to be retransmit. Assume that you are transmitting some 10 number of packets, and if you are missing the acknowledgement for the 5th packet, then the 5th packet alone is retransmitted, which means you are not transmitting as like the go back n. If it case go back n means all the packets from the 4 till 10 you will be transmitting, but here if the 4th packet's acknowledgement is not received, only that packet alone is going to be retransmitted. So, RFC 2018 allows for the acknowledgements of single packets, not only acknowledgements of in sequence packet streams without gaps. The sender can now retransmit only the missing packets. And the advantage of selective retransmission is it's highly efficient, and the disadvantage is it includes some complex software in the receiver and more buffer needed at receiver. In the classical TCP, transaction oriented TCP, there are 3 phases. One is the connection setup, data transmission, and the connection release. Using a three-way handshake signals, it needs 3 packets for setup and release respectively. Thus, even shorter messages need a minimum number of 7 packets. So, transaction oriented TCP RFC 1644 TTCP describes a TCP version to avoid this overhead. So, even you are transmitting a single packet, you have to transmit for 8 packets then. So, this is to be avoided, and so connection setup, data transfer and connection release can be combined. So, when you combine all these, there are only necessity of transmitting 2 or 3 packets. And the advantage is efficiency, your number of packet is reduced, and so it is efficient. Disadvantage is it requires changed TCP, and mobility is not transparent with the users. So, this is the comparison between the different approaches in the mobile TCP, where it shows all the techniques, that is the indirect TCP, which splits the TCP into 2 connections, and snooping TCP, which snoops the foreign agent for the acknowledgements, and it is retransmitting locally. And mobile TCP, it splits the TCP connection and it chokes the sender via window size, and fast transmit and fast recovery, it avoids the slow start after roaming. Transmission or timeout freezing, it freezes the TCP state at disconnection and it resumes after reconnection.
Selective retransmission method, it retransmits only the last packet alone. And the transaction oriented TCP, it combines the connection setup, release and data transmission, and it is efficient in that. And the advantages and the disadvantages of all these approaches are cumulated to be in a table. Thank you.